How do you maintain a social life and spend time out with your friends without losing sight of your goals? We'll be answering this and more. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Here to Evolve podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Alessandra.
And we are here to be your guides in the world of health and fitness. In this world full of misinformation, we filter through the nonsense to give you clear, actionable steps you can apply in your life to achieve your goals. There is no such thing as one size fits all, so our protocols are adaptable to fit your lifestyle. And we are back with another Q&A day, guys. Let's take it from the top.
All right, we got at least 10 questions here from our Facebook group. Thank you guys for dropping some great ones again this week. So this first one comes from Bailey. She asked, how do you maintain your social life without losing sight of your goals? And then she added to this that she wants to make this fit her lifestyle, but she also doesn't want to limit her community as they do support her health as well. So I think this is really kind of a two-part question. For most people who ask this question, I feel like it's coming from the place of like, you know, how do I go out and still drink alcohol, stay out late, like kind of live a lifestyle that is not conducive to health and to your health goals. It sounds like, Bailey, you have a great community who seems to support your health goals. And, you know, the community is important. Community, relationships, being around other like-minded people, that's something that we definitely want for everyone, and it's why we have the community that we do online. So that's definitely important. I think, you know, you have to just ask yourself, like, do you have to say yes to every single event? If it's something that's constantly happening every weekend, keeping you out late at night, throwing you off in that sense, is it really worth it for you? And then from like the food, I guess, the nutrition perspective of it, are there other things that you can do with these people besides like going out to eat or going out to drink? Like, can you do, I don't know, go for a hike or go out during the daytime or do other things besides our typical, what we all think of like as outings and having a social life? So that's what I would focus on. You don't have to cut people out of your life because they want you to stay out past 9 p.m. one weekend. Like, that's not what we're saying, but you do have to ensure that every decision that you make is in alignment with the lifestyle that you want to live, if that makes sense.
I think we're down to like 3 friends that we started a business with them. So it's like,
we joke about this, but we keep our circle small intentionally. I used to be someone who had a ton of friends. Like, I was so friends with, I'm not saying
You're
that.
the coolest, man.
I'm not saying that to
so
brag.
Many friends.
But like, it just got to the point where those friends that I had were really only people that I drank alcohol with or would go out and party with me. And they weren't really, like, we didn't really have anything else in common besides going out. So I knew that those really weren't true friends. Like, once I stopped drinking, they just kind of went poof, gone. So that's not a true friend. I'd rather have a tight circle of very close friends who fully get us and fully understand the lifestyle that we live and support it in all ways. And that's what we have now, and it's great. So I think it's not a matter of more is better, just like a lot of the things we talk about. Have the people in your circle that they really add value to your life in many ways and bring out the best in you. And it should all just kind of flow seamlessly together.
Listen, I don't know if I agree with that last part because this isn't easy. Like, we don't have it all figured out. And this is definitely one of the areas that I don't know if struggle is the right word, but definitely aren't thriving in. And like you said, we've done a good job of kind of tightening the circle.
I disagree with that.
Well, you can come back to it. But my perspective is we've condensed our circle. We've made our time more efficient. Everyone who is still in our lives has a positive impact, in those who it's either been work to maintain a relationship or it wasn't a positive relationship, like they've kind of flooded off. I guess from my perspective, like my closest relationships are with people I barely talk to anymore. It got to a point where, you know, I was making an effort, trying to keep everyone together, but we were all on different wavelengths. And again, we're on different, you know, we're becoming parents if we're not already parents, and some are still in the later night scene. So the things that we would want to meet up and do, those interests didn't really overlap. So, as we're trying to meet each other in the middle, or as I'm trying to reach out and do certain things, it wasn't happening. So I stopped putting in the effort because we weren't seeing each other. We weren't aligned with our interests.
That
We weren't
to
adding
me
value
is
to
not
our
somebody
lives.
that you want in your life anyway. So I feel like you have to look for the people that you do want in your life and who do align with you on many aspects. Like I have a handful of probably 5 really great girlfriends who I talk to regularly. We may not see, half of them don't live in the same state, but we talk regularly, and I tell them all the things, not all the things, but most of the things. So like you are my best friend. Our family unit is my best friend. Our kids are our best friends. But we have a great family around us who I consider part of our social circle. And then we have our friends who I am close with. It doesn't have to be me seeing them all the time, though. I think
See, I don't have that anymore. That's gone. I don't text anybody. Like, it's our business acquaintances who happen to be like our closest,
friends.
who happen to be our closest friends right now. We talk to them every day, but the personal stuff, the catching up, anything outside of business and family.
Why are you separating that though? Why can't your business acquaintances be your friends?
I'm saying they are. They are
right.
our closest
so
friends
counts.
At this point. Our partners are literally our best friends at this point.
Right.
I'm saying anything beyond business, it's been eliminated for me. And it's okay, I guess.
That is okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it's a negative at all.
I didn't say it was a negative. I said my personal growing up with closest friends. Like, you've got a couple people outside of the business group. I don't have anybody.
Well, that's on becoming an adult and drifting your separate ways.
I'm not complaining about it. Like, we're here for a reason.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying it's not easy. This isn't an easy answer. It's what we have as far as guidance isn't going to be the perfect solution. You're going to figure it out for yourself. This is what has worked best for us. We're happy. We love people we work with. We love them outside of work, obviously, or we wouldn't be doing all this stuff. And then our family. That's where all of our time and energy goes. So you got to find your balance.
All right. You guys talk a lot about eating whole foods. You guys talk a lot about eating a whole food diet, limiting processed foods. I fully agree and try to do the same, but what does that look like for you? Everything is technically processed, quote unquote, including sauces, condiments, bread, granola, protein powders, bars, etc. How strict are you with it? How do you approach a mostly whole foods diet? So when we say we eat mostly whole food sources, we eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, lean meats, eggs, those types of things. That consists of the bulk.
Straight out the chicken's ass.
That is the bulk of our diet. We don't say we don't ever eat processed foods because you're right. Basically, everything outside of that is processed.
Well, you got to understand too, processed foods are literally everything besides our eggs are processed foods. To be safe for, preserving them beyond an hour. The chicken breast you
buy at the store.
Everything's processed. What we're talking about there is the highly processed, refined, tons of additives, those types of things.
Let's reframe it. We eat mostly single ingredient whole foods. Like, that's our bulk of our diet. Some of them are processed still. Mm-hmm. The highly processed stuff with a lot of different ingredients are things we tried to avoid that have lots of added sugar or just things that don't make us feel the greatest. So do we eat ketchup and mustard and like things like that? Yes, of course. It's just the bulk of our diet is those single ingredient whole foods. That's what we focus on first when we create any meal or snack. What can we have that's a single ingredient whole food? And then anything around it, if we need ketchup or whatnot, it happens.
I hate chicken. I hate it. But I love like plain chicken breast. I love buffalo chicken. I'll eat chicken with like barbecue sauce. I love, but here the balance. Here's the balancing act. We'll use Stubbs barbecue sauce. It's got minimal added sugars, minimal ingredients. Does it have extra stuff in it? Yeah, but it's not like we're eating a bowl of it. It's a little bit drizzled on some chicken. The only time a meat we're eating that's not typically with something else like that, hot sauce, blue cheese, whatever, is if we're doing like not a stir fry, but a bowl. So rice, quinoa, vegetables, and then olive oil and seasonings kind of replace that dressing. So that's when we're going back to the single ingredients that are combined. But it's, again, everything we do, every single pillar, it's about the balance, finding the balance, making sure you're prioritizing enough of the quote unquote good things and minimizing all the extra stuff. And then if we are going out for ice cream or, it's a special event and stuff's going on, Those aren't huge no-nos, but that's the definition of moderation. It's for those special vacations, as Kai calls them, but special occasions, once in a while. Not every night, not every other night, once, maybe twice a week if it's a crazy week.
And listen, I would argue that if you're super stressed about eating processed foods and you're trying to eliminate them completely and it's like stressing you out to the max, that's just as detrimental for your health as eating them. Like, you have to find that balance. And yes, primarily, most of the time, focus on those single ingredient whole food sources, but nobody out there is going to be able to eliminate processed foods altogether. So that's our take. All right, this is from Mia. I know Josh has shared a story with Barrett's and is open about his struggles as a woman trying to support her spouse right now as he's going through his own health struggles. Any tips on how to best support them? What did you find helpful? I want my husband to feel supported, but I don't want to mother him or put on my practitioner hat either. Any tips are appreciated. It was at the point where, like, at least for us, like, you took this completely in your own hands. Like, you did the research. You really got to that low point and said, F this. Like, if you guys listened to the last episode, Josh shared his whole story, but you kind of hit rock bottom and decided to take it into your own hands from there. And I admitted, like, I did not know how bad it was at first, but the best thing that you can do is just literally support him. Like, you cannot make the changes for him or force him to change. I don't know. That's a tough one. And I think it's gonna differ with every relationship and every couple, obviously. But, like, I was never the one seeking out information for you, or like I was just there to literally support as your wife.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes two different directions. One is if he's hurting and he needs to heal, but he's not doing the right things. Like, that's one aspect that we can't really relate to. But, offering some resources when he is struggling, reminding, like, hey, these are some things we can be doing to avoid this. How can I help you? Just having that open communication, which goes into the other side. It's just listening to what he needs. If he is doing the things, just support him. Like, if he
or ask him what he needs.
If he's having a hard time, hang back, lay low. What can we do? What do we want to cancel? Like, keeping that line of communication and that compassion open, where you're not frustrated if he's not up for going to do things for a little while. Just listen. Be there and listen.
All right, this is a good one. I'm curious to what you have to say. Relating to food at schools, especially with young children, how would you guys approach a rotating class snack schedule where a different parent provides a snack for the whole class each day? If it's usually ultra-processed stuff you don't give your kids. So, more context, their school gives a free breakfast, which is typically cereal, pancakes, sugary breakfast bread, etc. And then lunch, corn dogs, riblet sandwich, Frito pie, fried chicken legs. And even if a child brings their own meal from home, they're still allowed to take the school lunch. So there really is nobody governing that adult-wise. We give our son a balanced home-cooked breakfast and send him with a lunch, but recently found out that a lot of the time he's taking those school snacks and meals in addition to what we're giving him. We've always had conversations with him about why we eat the way we do, similar to how you guys feed your family, but this is new territory. He just turned 4, by the way. That's rough.
You guys can't see if you're not watching on YouTube, I'm smiling and shaking my head.
Well, a lot of preschools do this. One of our friends her son just started preschool this year, sent me like a screenshot of their class recommended snacks, and it was like Doritos.
We got the same recommendation
Cheetos.
list. Pop-Tarts.
So our school does not do this. Like
they sent out the list, which I laughed at and
but
aggressively threw in the garbage can.
It's not like this is the parents rotating snacks.
I understand that, but let's start with the list. Just like these are the things the average parent who's not being proactive, who's not thinking about the things. Oh, this is the recommended list. This is a good idea. Thank you for giving me this recommended list of good things for my child.
Well, who created the list?
Somebody fucking dumbass in the administration office
who has no nutritional background whatsoever. Probably
all they did is say, okay, this doesn't have any allergens. These are safe. These are what we recommend.
No peanut butter. Blah,
Meanwhile,
blah,
100 grams of added sugar later, diabetes, metabolic issues, behavior disorders. But don't worry, we'll throw him on some medication to really dumb him down and make him slow and pay attention. And out of it,
here we go.
Here we
You
go.
really got Josh
Here we
riled
go.
up, Christine. All right, so let's answer her first question. How would we tackle this if Kai had a rotating snack schedule at school?
Fucking homeschool.
We would.
That's what we'd be doing.
I guarantee you, if this was his preschool, we would probably
He
be
wouldn't
looking
be. He
for
would. Luckily, it's a
another
preschool. He would not
preschool.
be at that preschool.
We would
He would
be
be
going
home.
to another one. I know, but I know not a lot of people have, like, there's one preschool in their area. They probably don't have options. So
He would be home.
what if we did not work from home?
Someone would be. This is how strongly I feel, and this is why we do what we do, guys. This was always our dream, always our goal, to be able to work from home. So everything we've built in our lives has been to be able to raise our kids the way we see fit. Now, I completely understand that's unreasonable for most of you, but that's how strongly I feel about raising our kids and how just diverting from the societal norms. That's why we do what we do, on top of obviously wanting to help you guys with a bunch of different things. That said, it would either be a letter to, do preschools have principals?
Well, I was going to say,
a letter to someone.
You are in charge. It doesn't matter if there's a principal or a teacher who's saying these are the rules. That is your child. So you can write a letter. I would assume this is what I would do if we had no other options. I would either take a meeting with whoever was in charge.
I would do it face to face.
Yep. And kind of just express to them, listen, I don't want my son having the option to eat this extra lunch
or these shared
these snacks. I'm going to send him with everything he needs to eat for the day. I mean, I know they try to avoid allergies and all that stuff with this list that they send, but if someone really had a restrictive diet, they would have to accept that. So if you
said, given the fact that it's not an allergy issue, they're going to look at you sideways.
Absolutely.
So you go in there with a strong heart and a strong mind, knowing you're doing things for the right reason. And this is what we talk about in regards to being the change. You do not let that discouragement alter what you're doing because you're doing the right things and you believe in what you're doing for the right reasons. So you go in there with your personal agenda, let them know how it is, and do not accept a different answer.
This is your kid. They cannot tell you, well, this is just how it is. That you are in charge of your child. Doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. So that is what I would do. And I mean, see what they say. And if it doesn't,
there's no see what they say.
If it,
you put your foot
for
down.
some reason, it does not go the way they
give them my phone number. We'll have a conversation.
All right. Text
it's
Josh.
Absurd. So this, again, when we go, let's say we are away. We were away last week for a few days. When we're out of our norm, when we're having more of the processed stuff, the easier stuff that's on the fly, even just going out and trying to pick healthier options, it's not always great. Kai gets a few days of that, and he is an entirely different child. Mm-hmm. His behavior is off. His sleep is off. It's very frustrating from our perspective to obviously we deal with it and we understand what's happening. So we have more bandwidth for that. But that's a matter of a few days. If you're talking about the norm every single day, going to school, this is the way it is. I cannot stress it enough, guys. You are affecting your child's long-term health. This is why I'm so blunt, and I don't know what the better word for it is, but when I say, and we got flack for this on a clip from a social media post, and we didn't even say anything that aggressive on the clip that we posted on social. She was a lunatic. But this is why I don't give two shits about the backlash when I say, if your child is overweight, that is parental neglect. That is on you. You are affecting their long-term future by not keeping them active. And I'm not saying get them on the fucking treadmill. I'm saying get outside, go play with them, move, take walks, focus on the things that they're putting into their body, the foods that they're eating. They're not becoming overweight because and this doesn't cost a lot of money. This is not a rich person, poor person, upper class, middle class, lower class.
Talk about Costco.
I think there's another question I believe that reflects on this, as far as if there's not, we can hit on it anyway. But this isn't a money thing, guys. It's take the fucking Skittles and Twinkies out of the cabinet and take care of your kids, because this is going to play a role in their long-term health. And I don't feel bad about saying that. It's parental neglect. I will not backtrack on that. It is your fault. You are hurting them in the long term.
That goes into this question, so we'll jump to that one. working with helping low-income families to eat healthier. How can you afford to buy healthy food when you are shopping for a family on a limited weekly budget? Are there any good, cheaper swaps for more expensive things like fresh produce, butcher meat, lower sugar items, etc.? Are there processed food that is okay, since processed foods tend to be cheaper? Also, if shopping healthier whole foods means you can't afford to buy enough food for 3 meals a day, is it better to buy more food than healthier food, especially for children?
First of all, thank you for what you do. Helping people, educating people, and working within their budgets. Like, that's an important job for the exact purpose that we're talking about. You're helping change the world, and you are very, very much appreciated. You are the antithesis of this bullshit that we're talking about on the other side with,
You're a part of the change.
You're a part of the change.
I want to start off by saying, I think
get a Costco membership.
We'll get there. That also is not cheap, so that some people can't afford that. But regardless, we'll get into that. I feel like there is still a stigma that healthy food is more expensive than non-healthy food. And I think that exists because people think, like, if you looked at the healthy processed foods, like all the healthy snacks at Whole Foods, all those seemingly fancier, seemingly healthier things, you're gonna
just buy what's on the box.
You're gonna rack up your grocery bill for sure. Those are more expensive. But those are not the only healthier options. Like, if you look at Whole Foods, like we're talking fruits, vegetables, they don't have to be organic. Fruits, vegetables, lean meats, eggs, whole milk, whole yogurt, rice,
grains, oats,
frozen vegetables, frozen fruits, canned vegetables, canned fruits.
Let me be very clear, because we want to talk about economic status and how that helps, quote unquote, be healthier or whatever. I was lower middle class growing up. We found a way. In college, I didn't have any help. I was dirt broke, but I was still in shape. I was sick, and that's another problem, but that had nothing to do with my nutrition. You want to talk about it might be boring in some cases. You can make it fun, but chicken, whether it's chicken breasts, chicken thighs, ground chicken, same thing with turkey, ground turkey, oats, rice,
beans. Canned
beans are $1. Fruits, veggies. Like I said, I was born with how I cooked, but you can make good things out of those things. Olive oil is expensive, but use it sparingly. Drizzle that on some chicken breasts, chopped up vegetables, on some rice. Might cost you $2, maybe $3 per meal, depending on your portion size. $3 is probably a pretty large portion size for that meal. So you can do it. Like, you just have to, it doesn't have to be organic. So you want to talk about the issues we have with what goes into our food supply. I understand that. I completely understand that. But eating the other processed stuff, which has that in there anyway, the highly processed stuff, which has all that stuff in there anyway, versus not going organic and just getting those things, you're avoiding the metabolic issues. You're keeping yourself at a healthy weight. You're staying in much better shape, which is going to be more beneficial than avoiding the chemicals that are in the food and in our food supply and in the soil and in the what's sprayed on the plants. That's step one, is you need to eat the right things first. And then if you're in a place to focus on organic, great. If you're not, we're not demonizing Whole Foods if they're not organic. Is it ideal the way that the United States processes things? No, it's not ideal. But you are in a much better place simply focusing on consuming Whole Foods and staying at a healthy weight.
Yeah, you don't need the fancy organic pre-made meals that are like $10 a box at Whole Foods. Like, that's not that. I think that's less healthy than doing what we just said. We were at Costco the other day. You don't need to go to Costco to get this, but
I think they have two different memberships too. I think it's like $100 and you get a rebate check, which basically pays for what you buy. And then for us, we buy a lot, pays for the membership and then a little bit more. But going there, I think you can get one for like $50 or $60 and you pay that 50, 60 every single year. But you're going to make that up in like your first trip. It's crazy. We went there the other day and I laughed. I'm like, if we had no money, we would come to Costco every day and get the rotisserie chicken. It was $4.99 and it fed our entire family.
We usually get one for dinner when we go to Costco when we pick Kai up from school. So then we come home, we like just don't want to cook that day.
You can't get a side at a restaurant for $4.99.
It's the easiest thing. And it's the whole chicken for $4.99, and I guarantee Walmart has them in their.
Oh yeah.
In their
Stop and Shop has them. I think they're like $7.
So something like that. But like there are options out there, and I think you have to stick with our core messaging here of focus on single ingredient whole foods. Shop what's in season. Don't buy fruit that's out of season. That's always going to be a little bit more affordable or on sale. It is doable. I promise you it is doable with a little bit of intent. And like you said, maybe it's boring at times to repeat the same meals, but just season it a little bit differently. Grab a few different seasonings and call it a day.
It's a lot less boring than fighting medical conditions and paying medical bills.
True. Okay, moving on. Avoiding injury while still making progress with heavier weight. I think a lot of people also, there's a stigma that lifting heavy equals you get injured more. You're actually more likely to get injured from being weak and not lifting heavy. Believe it or not. The chances,
I think they're probably talking like 15 reps versus like 6 to 8.
Well, they didn't specify, so that's where I'm taking it. But a lot of people are scared to lift heavy because they're scared they're going to get hurt. Number 1, form first always. Video yourself doing an exercise. I had one of our app members tell me she videoed herself doing the low rear foot elevated split squats, and she's like, I cannot believe how off my form was, and that's why my back was hurting. If something hurts, I guarantee form is the issue first and foremost. That comes first, then load from there. But the more you can load and the more muscle you have, the safer you are going to be and more resilient you are going to be when it comes to any sort of pain or injury that happens.
I'll also say, so on top of form, especially if you're new and you've been worried, so you haven't really done much and you've been using the pink weights forever, start around that 15 rep range. So, make your tendons more resilient. Your tendons take a little more time to adapt to strength training than your muscles do. When you get hurt, when you get injured, it's not like you're going to go out there and tear your quad most of the time, tear a bicep, tear a chest muscle. It's because it's just going to be nagging inflammation. Your back hurts, your shoulder hurts, your knee hurts. And that's because let's just say form is great. You didn't progress smoothly enough from, say, 15 reps for a month or so, 12 reps, 10 reps, 8 reps, 6 reps. I'm not saying you have to do that every time, but if you're newer to lifting and your tendons may not have adapted, give them time to get used to being under that kind of load, that kind of tension. So if you are brand new, maybe you start off higher rep. And if you're using one of our programs and you are new and maybe it's a little lower than you feel comfortable with, just change the rep scheme. The overall schematics of the program is still going to be fine. Just bump it up a little bit and you can scale it down on your own. You can track that. You can change what you're putting in there. So that's one other consideration, is start closer on that end. But you can still go hard. You still want to be 1 to 4 reps short of failure. Maybe it's 3 as you're getting started, 3 reps from failure. And then as your body adapts, you should have no worries about getting injured.
All right, next question. I've been hearing a lot of bad things about seed oils lately, particularly canola and sunflower oils, which I always thought were a great source of polyunsaturated fats. I also thought the research suggested these oils had positive health outcomes, but they're being given a bad rep at the moment because they are highly industrialized. I was wondering what your stance was on this. I think there is a lot of fear mongering about seed oils currently. It's like the new buzzword. So I totally understand like why people are fearful of them. We don't really consume a lot of, we haven't ever really consumed a lot of, like, we don't go out and look for seed, like any kind of seed oil.
Well, this is like most people cook, like restaurants will cook in seed oils because they are cheaper than extra virgin olive oil.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, maybe you've done a little more research on this than me.
It hasn't been a part of our diet, and I haven't, I've had a similar question, and I've always like, I should do a little bit of a deeper dive on that, and I haven't. But I will say, if you are consuming them regularly, like if you are knowingly cooking with them, you don't really know what's in food when you go out. But if you're knowingly cooking with them and you feel fine, I wouldn't really worry about it. I'm pretty sensitive, so I know right away if it affects me negatively or positively or what.
You don't
I
have
think,
to go out
you know
of
what had, I think it was sunflower oil when we were ordering ground chicken. Was it maybe from Butcher Box? I think it had sunflower,
what it was.
sunflower seed oil in there. And
I
that's
made the
probably
meatballs
when,
with them once,
they were delicious.
They were definitely more like moist. Like the chicken meatballs were more moist.
But we've also never cooked those with like olive oil or anything, so that could be something to try.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really go out of our way to consume those things. We're a big olive oil family. I don't know. my Italian side has always used olive
Well,
oil.
that is known. Like, I'll take shots of olive oil if I'm short on calories or short on fats. Like, I will literally take a 2-ounce shot of olive oil, and I love it. Like, it's
Makes
delicious.
me cringe thinking about that or watching you do that.
Good for reducing inflammation. Those are for sure healthy fats. If anything else is questionable, and like if it's not a price point thing with you, switch to extra virgin olive oil and check the source. Make sure it's 100% from one destination. When it's from 7 different countries, which this is common, it's a lot harder to source it and understand, like, when was it cut? Was it actually cut? This was a thing. A video blew up on one of the platforms looking at Costco. It was like, why is this organic olive oil so much cheaper than this whatever olive oil? And it was because it was from like 7 or 8 different countries, and it was only like 10% extra virgin olive oil. The rest of it was like grapeseed oil or whatever. So just look on the back. Make sure it's 100% extra virgin olive oil, organic or not, whatever.
But we have no strong thoughts.
Yeah, no strong thoughts. I don't think it's as bad as it's being made out to be. I think they're fine, but I would definitely put olive oil at the top of that hierarchy.
All right. What is your guys' cleaning/dishes routine? I love this lifestyle. Have no problem waking up early, working out. I enjoy eating healthy, but the dishes are killing me. With 2 kids and all the meal prepping, I feel like I'm doing so many dishes. Looking for an efficient system. Do you clean up after each meal, let the dishes pile up, and do a big clean at the end of the day? Feels like a stupid question, but this has been my biggest pain point. Not a stupid question.
Not a stupid question. I get agita if I walk into a dirty kitchen.
We recently had, not an argument, but like
conversation.
I don't mind if there's dishes in the sink, but like, come to find out, Josh, it gives him anxiety.
Drives me fucking nuts.
So whenever I get the chance, I do unload the dishwasher and put them away. But usually after every meal, we do put them right in the dishwasher.
Yeah, they go right in the dishwasher. It's just first thing, if we're flying around, the clean dishes will stay in the dishwasher for a little while, and then we might have a few plates in the sink until I drop Kai off or we get through one of Cora's shifts. If I have 10 minutes, I'll unload it and I'll make sure everything gets loaded into the dishwasher. I'll wash the pan after breakfast, and then I clean up right after dinner.
We do it after each meal, which I think helps because it's like it's less overwhelm for me to look than looking at a full sink of it. And then at night, we load it all up. We tidy up the kitchen once the kids go to bed usually, and we run the dishwasher every night so it's clean for the morning. That's just like our dishes routine. Laundry is a whole nother story. That's my current thing that I hate. Just cleaning in general. I do a lot of like the deeper cleaning in the house because Josh takes care of the outside stuff, the lawn and everything else. Changing our water system. Like, we have our individual chores that we do, but they're definitely not like, I'm not super obsessive about having a perfectly spotless house. I will say over the years, we have minimized, like, just, we don't have a lot of stuff that stays out, like in our living room or kids' toys. Like, I'm constantly donating things and making sure that we just don't have a lot of extra things laying around, which I think helps keep the overall house tidy. But you got to stay on top of it. I mean, I think
I'll also say, like, a tidy house does reduce, like, you feel better walking in and seeing clean things. If there's shit everywhere, and I understand if you have kids, like, it's not going to be perfect. But I draw the line. Like, I hate having a dirty desk in our office, and I hate having a dirty sink. Like, if those areas look okay, and those are the 2 areas we tend to center around, like, I'm fine. I feel better. Whatever. We can deal with the toys everywhere. We'll clean them up. We'll sweep everything out. You know, at the end of the day, and you can just live with it. That's being a family. It's having a home. But I can't stare at that shit.
Yeah, I think you have to find what works for you, but that's what we have found that works for us. All right, last question. Excuse me. Thoughts on postpartum and breastfeeding, mamas pushing heavy weights with all this relaxin still in our bodies. Relaxin stays in the body for about 12 months postpartum or longer if you're breastfeeding. Obviously, proper form, nutrition, recovery all plays an important role in injury prevention, but do you have any thoughts on this? Pushing 8 or 9 RPE while we're so injury prone. I wouldn't say having relaxin makes you more injury prone per se. Personally, you have to remember, like, everything you said, 100%. Like, proper form, make sure you're implementing progressive overload so you're not just jumping into it postpartum and trying to lift super heavy. Like, yeah, you want to push RPE 8 or 9, but that doesn't mean you're maxing out. So in theory, you shouldn't really be anywhere close to injuring yourself if you're actually truly at RPE 8 or 9. And the more muscle you have on your body, going back to the injury question, the more muscle you have, the less likely you are to be injured. So form is important. Progressing efficiently and in a safe and slow manner is important, and just listening to your body. If something feels off, don't continue to push it for that session. So I don't think it's something to necessarily be fearful of. Yeah, we have more relaxin, but personally, honestly, it's never been an issue for me in any of my postpartum journeys, and I have not had one client get injured in their postpartum journeys. So don't be fearful of something that maybe other people are making you fearful of.
Y'all always be relaxing. Pregos. Relaxing pregos.
Always. All right. I think that might have been the last question. Yep. All right. That is it.
Where can they find you?
I'm at Alessandra Skutnik.
I'm at Josh Skutnik.
Everything else you need is linked in the show notes.